Hey, welcome back to Driven Channel. I'm here with a very special guest that I wish I would have met you like 3 years ago or four. I would have made you like a few million.
At least.
Yeah. Yeah, because when COVID happened, that's when I started flying private.
Mm.
Because I, one day, I remember that they did something to my daughter, Italia, where they kind of bullied her. And they're like, hey,
Mm.
you got to put your mask on. And she's a baby. She's a little girl.
Right.
I think she's like 4 years old, almost four. And I just felt like it was very disrespectful, but I couldn't do anything about it because we needed to get back home for work, and they were gonna kick me out of the plane because I get we get us Mexicans, we get really like aggressive, and we were like, and then we were having some drinks, forget it. So I told Tella, hey, just I didn't tell her to put it back on, but she told me, hey, Dad, I'll put it on. It's okay. I'll put it on, and then when the lady leaves, I'll put it back down so I could breathe.
Mm.
And then she said, but when they come back, I'll just cover it back up. So then that moment was like, hey, I'm gonna start flying private, traveling private. I gotta make more money, and it is what it is. And that's when it all started. But I didn't know you, so you could have gotten me a bunch of deals. But that's a
Unfortunately.
different story. But Nick, you have the company called Executive Jets, and you founded the company. You're the owner, and is that what you do? How did you get into that? What did you do before that?
Mm.
And what's your background story?
So that's a great question. I actually grew up in a sales background. My parents, unfortunately, had some financial problems. I went to school. I didn't know what I was doing, so I ended up dropping out of college. And one of my friends, he ended up recruiting me to Stratton Oakmont.
Hmm.
And we went to work for Jordan Belfort. I was just a cold caller. They were probably paying us about $150 a week.
You still talk to Jordan?
I text him every once in a while.
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to him in probably about 8 months, but he's busy. He just wrote a book. And
Did,
I thank him.
yeah.
He was like one of my first mentors. The guy was a god back
Was
then.
was he a good boss?
He was insane.
Yeah.
He best motivational speaker I've ever met, especially in that era.
Yeah.
He used to walk in the room in silence, like it was God talking.
So that's interesting. That I didn't know that about you. So he had something to do with your sales training.
Yeah. Back then, they don't have that type of training. The only other training I think that's even remotely close, which I gravitated to at Driven, was Andy Elliott.
Mm.
He has a pit bull, dog pound training. You got to study. You got to study your raps, your pitches, and you got to work hard every single day. And that's the way it was. They made you stand up. They taped the phone to my hand the first 2 weeks.
They tape it to your hand,
To my hand, yeah. They gave me no chair.
and
I
they
had
think
no chair.
and they think I'm in here.
Yeah.
Maybe I should start doing that, huh?
They would embarrass you in front of the whole room. They would make you pitch the room in front of
Yeah.
300 people.
I'm gonna do that to Maria. I'm gonna tape the phone on her hand.
Sorry, Maria.
If the money makes sense.
That'd be a good idea, huh? But so that's kind of that's crazy. But
Mm.
so what was it? What was it like there? Did he? Were you there when he was like doing cocaine and doing all that other craziness?
Yeah, I mean, he would do it in his office. He wouldn't do it in front of everybody, but there was other people doing cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
Friday nights came and people had to work late and put stock
And you had
away.
like the naked girls like in the movie and all that
Correct,
stuff.
yeah. Secret rooms, people watching them have sex.
What?
Yeah.
But of course you weren't one of those, huh?
No, I was young. I was 18 years old.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know, I had no idea what a stock was. I had no idea, no financial background.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there.
So he was your first like big mentor.
Right, correct.
Did he? I know he did cocaine. He actually was my neighbor. I know him very well. I don't know if you know that.
No, I didn't know
Did you know
that.
that?
No, I
Yeah,
didn't know.
we text all the
I
time.
know he moved from California
Yeah,
to
we,
Florida.
we text all the time. So he was my neighbor at this high rise called 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to live in 10,000. I lived there for like about 3 years, and Lewis House used to live there. I don't know if he still lives there. I don't think so. Jordan Belfort lived there. But he was my neighbor, so I spoke to him a lot. We did a podcast in the balcony.
Oh,
So
did you?
if you Google Jordan Belfort and Albert Preciado, you'll find a podcast film right there at 10,000 in the balcony.
I gotta check that out.
And then we went downstairs, and then he got a dirty martini, and one of my closing tactics of many is you gotta always mirror the drink that somebody gets, even if you don't like it, or even if you don't drink, you just get it and you just pretend you're drinking. You're not even drinking it. Some people even drink, and then they spit it, but they do it because it builds rapport. So like, let's say if a girl, let's say Maria likes strawberry margaritas, which I hate. Actually, it's a true story. Like this girl, and then it worked because, and then I thought about it when Jordan said, I want a dirty olive martini. I hate those.
Do you?
But I got one after the podcast. Yeah, 'cause he said, hey, let's go down to the bar and grab a drink. But I remember back then in college, this girl Beatriz, she had like beautiful legs, nice little waist, and like voluptuous Latina girl from Mexico. And we went to the study abroad trip, and she wanted a strawberry martini. So I'm like, okay, cool. She wanted to have a strawberry martini, so I had a strawberry martini, and then it ended up working out. But that's what I learned there. I don't know why I got into all that, but my point is
taking notes.
Yeah, my point is I know him very well. So that's when I met him, and then we just continued the relationship. He moved to Miami, so we don't really see each other or talk that often. But he did run into me recently at Hotel Bel Air. But my question back with Jordan Belfort was, he, even though he had a lot of crazy sexy women all the time and the cocaine and the drinking, all that stuff, was he also a hard worker? Like, did he work hard, play hard?
Oh, man,
amazing. Or how would you, like, how was he back then? And what was your biggest takeaway from Jordan Belfort?
So the work ethic was insane.
And the reason why I ask you is because now you have a business that is making 8 figures every year, right?
Yes.
And you started from nothing not too long ago.
Correct.
And it's growing, and you have the biggest influencer stars. I don't know if I can say the names. I won't say them. You can say them if you want. But you have some of the biggest influencers right now that use you.
Correct.
So you learned something that's working, and you're applying it.
Absolutely.
And so how was it with Jordan? Like, did he work 18 hours a day, more? Like, how was that experience?
Put it this way. If they had a stock that needed to be... See, back in the day, you had to put stock away.
Yeah.
They would actually make the market, and other firms would buy it.
Yeah.
So if there was stock, they would put it on a board. They would put the spread, whether it be $2, $3, up to a 50% commission, and no one was allowed to leave the room until that stock was being put away.
See, I gotta do those things.
No one was leaving. It was boot camp. It was like very.
What about everybody that was there? Did they get overtime pay, or were they all independent contractors?
All independent.
See, that's what I gotta do.
It was all commission.
But you're not supposed to keep independent contractors. You can't keep them if you're not paying them a salary. Like, you can't keep independent contractors. I don't know. Maybe it's different in the state where you guys were, but independent contractors, you're supposed to give them the freedom to leave and come whenever they want.
These
right?
guys didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
They were printing money. They were
So he would just influence him. In other words, he would just tell him, hey, you guys don't have to be millionaires or multimillionaires. You guys can be brokies. If you want to leave, get the fuck out. If you want to be multimillionaire, then stay the fuck in.
Correct.
Pretty much
And
like
whoever
that.
put the most stock away is going to get an extra percentage. On top of that, whoever opens the most account is going to get a Rolex. And everybody fought for that. Everybody competed. It was a watch. It was a car. There was always incentives.
How did you guys find all those salespeople? Like, how did you go in there?
My friend was working there, and he goes, Nick, these guys are making so much money. The guy I'm working for just made a check for $120,000. You got to come here. So I wasn't doing anything in college, and my parents needed help, so I just went to work there, and I had no idea. He gave me a pitch book. They would have these big black binders, and it would say intro, rebuttals, wife, not interested, meeting, And he's like, you got to study this.
So those like scripts, right?
Scripts, yeah.
So scripts do work.
Oh, yeah.
You just got to study them.
You got to study them.
Because then
that's
that way when you're on the phone, you're like this, right?
correct. You got to always study, especially in sales. You got to take courses. You got to keep studying. You got to train.
Yeah, you see, Maria, people watching this, you have the scripts, and you guys see the success of some people that they get selling and closing deals day in, day out. So why don't people study the scripts? Or why don't people believe in that?
I just think the times have changed, and when people try it for the first time, and I fell a victim to this.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I was terrible. I was
For how long?
For I would say about 3 or 4 months. I was so terrible that I almost quit the business. I said I can't do this. I was getting abused. I had to pitch the room. I'd be stuck. I didn't know what to say, you know. And they're like, go home, study your fucking pitch. You know, you got to practice. And there was people there that were talented. I always say this to this day. If Jordan ended up buying real companies, that firm would have been bigger than Goldman Sachs.
Yeah.
The amount of talent and sales acumen that they had people do whatever they wanted. That's how good they were on the phone. Didn't matter if the person was down in their account, how much money they lost. They were able to still sell and put stock away.
Did Jordan actually sell himself or no?
In the beginning, but when I was there, I mean, he was just overseeing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just doing the deals behind the scene.
So when you got there, he already had they were already blown up.
Yeah, they were already blown up. It was towards the tail end. I think it was 95, beginning of 96, and then he got in trouble.
So you were there when he got in trouble?
I was there. He got in trouble, and I left because people started walking out the door. You know, this person wouldn't show up, that person wouldn't show up, and then my friend was working at another place that used to work there, and he opened up a place called Investor Associates, and they were paying people $250 a week. So if I can help out my parents with an extra $100 a week, I'm okay. So I went there, and that's where I really started to work and kind of make a name for myself.
When you were with him, how many years were you with him? Was it years or
no? It was only 6 months.
Oh, so you got there in the end,
Yeah,
and then
towards the
and
end.
then he got in trouble.
Yeah.
Were you there when they took him?
No.
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 He had just gotten in trouble, and then people started leaving.
Yeah, they came for him at his house,
Mm-hmm.
and he got arrested.
But you left before that happened.
Yeah, once I found out he got arrested,
Yeah.
My friend was like, listen, I don't know. These guys are thinking about leaving. I don't know what I'm going to do.
So the commissions that you were getting paid there, you said it was 50%?
It was 50% for the people that were buying the stocks. So if, let's say, you raised $100,000,
Mm-hmm.
you would make $50,000. If you raised $1 million, you would make a half.
That's what the broker shop took, right?
Correct.
That's what the company took.
Yeah.
And what split did he give you or the top closers?
Well, I was actually not even a licensed broker yet. So I wasn't even pitching stock. I was just getting leads. I was a cold caller. But people were on a 70% payout, 60% payout.
So they would get paid 70%, 80%?
70% of the commission. So if someone did $500,000 gross, they would get paid 70% payout. And it was a grid system. You know, if you did 50,000, you were on a 50% payout. If you did 100, you were on a 60% payout. If you did above 200, you're on a 70% payout. And then, you know, if you recruited some guys, you would get 5% of their book.
Ring a bell, guys. So the where was I going with this? So when somebody, so that was a month, right? They would make that a month.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Yeah, it's I like the structure.
Yeah.
So then you did that, and then like what? And you said he used to go there like Monday through Sunday. He worked. He was the first one in, last one out. Like how did that look like?
Yeah, in the beginning, he was there all the time. They basically lived there.
Including weekends?
Yeah. If there was deals, of course, people would work weekends, nights, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
How many people were there at one point?
I think there was probably about 300,
Damn.
350.
And there was a big space?
And they did exactly what you did. They put a gym in the place. They had secret rooms. They have conference rooms. they try to make it as friendly as possible. So
I
everybody can
got to
spend
do
time
the
there.
secret rooms though. I don't have those. Maybe one secret room.
With the video cameras in, which is pretty funny.
Oh, he had video cameras in the secret
Well,
rooms.
in my other firm that I went to, the owner
See,
of the firm,
let's think about a secret room. Maybe by the stairs. We could kind of know.
people used to watch guys downstairs while everybody will be at his desk,
Yeah.
and there's like 10 people there
Yeah.
watching them.
Because he was in pretty good shape too, right? He
Oh,
used
yeah,
to work
was
out a
always-
lot.
He was always in good shape.
So he did everything. He did
Yeah.
drugs,
Drugs,
women,
yeah,
drink,
massages,
workout.
everything.
Interesting. And he had a killer work ethic. And then he was very good. He was great in sales,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah,
And then was he also very knowledgeable?
very knowledgeable, especially when it came into the market.
He had a
was
strong mindset too.
very smart. Yeah, mindset was incredible.
Yeah.
He learned. I don't know if you saw the movie, but you remember the guy that's pounding his chest, Mark
Yeah.
Hanna?
Yeah.
That was my neighbor. That's actually, they just sold their house, but that was my neighbor. And he ended up opening up a firm. See, when Jordan had Stratton Oakmont, people were leaving and opening up their own firms.
That
And then
happens,
It was
yeah.
Sterling Foster, it was Investor Associates, it was all these schlock firms in Long Island. And they made that other movie, Boiler Room,
Yeah.
about it as well.
Yeah. So what's the biggest lesson you learn from his mistakes, and the biggest lesson you learn from the things he did right? Because the thing I think about is, what if could he have done it legally, so that maybe if he wouldn't have gotten that greedy, is there a way that he could have done it legally, so that he could have made a little less money, maybe even 50% of what he was making?
He would have
but
made
kept
less,
it.
He would have made less money in the beginning, but over the long term, he would have been richer than everybody. He would, like I said, he would have been bigger than J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs, and those were the, outside of BlackRock, which is an institutional firm, they're, the biggest firms out there.
Yeah.
Because he had the sales talent. That's one thing that these other firms like Goldman Sachs didn't have. He had a lot of talented people. So if he was just buying IBM, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and just letting those stocks go and holding them and building positions, he would have kept all the clients. He would have had multi-billions of dollars in the management, and he would have been a billionaire. He knows it. I tell him too. Send him a text every once in a while. Can you imagine if he did it right?
You tell him you could have been a.
Oh yeah, monster.
Yeah. What about the thing you learned that from his mistakes, and the thing you learned from his successes?
So from the mistakes, I would think, don't rush. Everybody wants everything too fast, and sometimes when you want everything too fast, you make a lot of mistakes.
Right.
And you take a shortcut. And then when you take a shortcut, sometimes there's a short end. And I've even had that in my business as well. I've owned multiple companies before, and we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
But without the mistakes, you're not going to have the success. I think the failures are the most important things. That's how you learn.
Yeah. What about from his successes?
From his successes, you have to work like a machine. I think a lot of people these days are lacking the work ethic. They're too distracted from their phones, their girlfriends. They don't have the right, like you said, mentorship to where they're trained. So you have to be bred into having that type of mentality and that mindset.
Right.
You have to be manipulated. You have to be we were brainwashed. And I think that brainwash is good because it teaches you a certain work ethic where nothing else exists except for what your vision is.
Yeah. It's like Maria sometimes tells me, my assistant here. She's like, "Oh, you're brainwashing me. You're playing the mind trick on me." And I'm like, "Yeah, you said it right now. I'm brainwashing people into becoming millionaires. So like, do you want to be brainwashed to become a millionaire, or do you want to be brainwashed by your brokey friends on becoming average or below average?"
Right.
Because the thing is, like, I'll tell people and I'll brainwash them, "Hey, this is what you got to do it." And they'll think like, "Oh, well, this is because it's going to make you more money." No, we're all going to make more money. But then they go back and then their friends, their brokey friends, and I'm not talking about anybody here in specific, but brokey friends, then they'll tell you, you'll go home or the weekends and they'll tell you, "Hey, yeah, you shouldn't do that. It's a scam. You shouldn't do that. They're just trying to take your money. Don't do that. Like they'll say things like, don't buy a house right now. You know, it's gonna crash. But this is from people that they don't own businesses. They don't own a house. They don't have a business mindset. So people get advice from people like that, including family, parents. You know, your parents love you. They want to protect you. They care for you, but it doesn't mean that they're like experts in finances, marketing, business, real estate, stocks.
Correct.
So I think people watching this should pay attention at people like you, for example. You started your company, I believe 2015, you said?
Correct. End of
2015. 2015, you started a company that's doing 8 figures. You have the most successful influencers that are using you for their private jet to charter. And you also sell jets, or you...
We sold a couple, but mainly charter.
Yeah.
Just, I think the rental market is so much easier and efficient.
Yeah.
You know, so many deals fall through when it comes to
And it's
selling
quick.
the plane. Yeah, it's quick.
You don't have to wait like
Nope.
a month or months to close the deal on the jet. You
can
just
book a
one
trip
day.
today in 2-3 hours.
You give me a flight right now.
Right now, in 2-3 hours.
Puerto Rico?
I'll get you a plane to Puerto Rico. No problem.
I like that. So where I was going is, people need to listen from proven people that have been in business for quite a while. Like when somebody's been in business 5 years, I'm like, that's cute. You're gonna go out of business this year, because most businesses go out of business in 5 years.
Yeah.
Or less.
First 2 years.
Yeah. And so when people tell me, hey, I've been in business for a decade, I'm like, oh shit, you know, you're doing something right.
Right.
And then people have been in business for 2 decades or more. I'm like, hey, you guys have a real solid business that's bulletproof. Then again, no business is really bulletproof, because you've seen what happened to some of these big companies, right?
Oh my God.
But going back to that, so when you learn all of that, mentor Jordan Belfort, then you decide to get into the stocks. Do you go somewhere else, or do you open
Yeah.
your own deal?
I originally, I almost quit the business, because
Yeah.
every single firm, because that other firm that I went to got in trouble. Everybody started to get in trouble. Like, I don't know if you saw the movie, The Boiler Room,
Yeah.
the end of the movie. Quick, crazy story. The owner of my firm told me to get a whole bunch of the co-callers, take the Lamborghinis or the Ferraris, and go recruit, because the FBI is in the building, and those brokers are going to have to go somewhere. And I go upstairs, and there's federal officers all over the building, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? What am I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, let me get the hell out of here. Like, this is crazy. And ever since that day, I wanted to leave the business. So I started going from firm to firm. Everybody was doing the same thing. And I became a piker. I didn't want to dial the phone. I don't know if you know what the term the piker is, but I was so disgusted in the business that I wouldn't even make calls. And I lost my talent. I was very talented on the phone. And my mother was telling me to leave. This is a scam. You know, the business is, you're not making any money. They're all doing the same thing. And then finally, we went to a firm in Manhattan, and it was called Millennium Securities. And it was the last interview that we were going to go on. It was me, my cousin, another partner.
Yeah.
And we said that this is it. This is the last firm we're going to go on an interview. And if it's not a real firm, we're all going to go our separate ways. So we went there. It was on 58th and Lexington, 38th floor, overlooking Central Park. Huge office. There were 300-400 people in the office, all glass. And there's a big black bouncer, about 6'5".
Mm-hmm.
And he pats everybody down. You're not allowed to go in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're sitting down. We go inside. We start talking to the owners of the firm, this guy named Ricky and Todd, Ricky Sittimer. And they're like, look at our books. Look, I just made this guy $180,000 on Amazon. We're buying all real companies here. So we went in like big shots, saying that we had all this big business and we're going to open all these accounts, and we want $20,000. We were broke. We wanted $20,000 as a sign-in bonus,
Yeah.
and a 70% payout. So they're like, all right, give us a few minutes. We're going to talk about it. And we go downstairs. We're shaking each other's hands. We're outside. We're like, oh, man, it was nice knowing you, you know. We came back upstairs, and they're like, okay, you're hired. Here's your checks. And that's it. Our confidence level went to the roof. And we just put our heads down. We took our rebuttal books and we just started studying and working all night till like 10 o'clock at night. And we started making a lot of money. And we started making a lot of money for clients, which is great.
Because with Jordan, you were making money, but not the clients, right?
Correct. Everybody was losing money. The minute that somebody bought a stock, he was down 50%.
Yeah.
You know, it was I don't know if you know pump and dumps. You know what that term, pump and dump? They would influence the stock, get other people to buy it, and meanwhile, they're selling their shares in the back.
Mm.
And that's what it was. It was a
Yeah.
scam.
Yeah. So this is when you started making good money,
Yeah, I became the best account opener in the place.
and you were selling good stocks.
Great stocks, yeah.
So how much money were you making in the month?
100,000. You know, I was still young. I was 23 years old. You know, for
So-
$100,000 to make in a month is like
Yeah.
23 is amazing.
How did you learn about these good stocks and how to actually help people and make money?
This, you know, that's a great question. This was the beginning of the dot-com era. So any company that was coming onto the market and it was a technology stock, it started to move. Like Amazon was at $5 a share at that point. And we had a big position in Amazon. It went from 5 to 66 in 8 weeks. You know, that's a really good return.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew. They were picking some really good stocks at the time. And we would listen to the owners.
Yeah. And how long did this last, and when did it end bad, or was it because if you would have kept, if it would have kept going great, you would have made more money, right?
So,
In other words, what landed you the Jets?
all right, so I'll give you the quick version.
Yeah.
So those two guys started doing deals. They started doing, they would open up an LLC, they started buying fake stocks.
Mm.
And they wanted us to put our clients into those fake stocks.
Yeah.
The minute we had that meeting, we're out. So
Yeah.
I went to go work at a firm called JP Turner, which was a liquid company. And it was a real firm, and I left. They got in trouble. Those two guys invented the private jet business. They got finally kicked out of the business, and they had so much money, they would have all these mansions in the Hamptons, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and their friend owned the jet.
Mm-hmm.
And this is back in 2001. Their friend owned a jet, and one of the Knicks, they were friends with the Knicks and the Yankees, one of the players went on the jet, and they went down to Florida for the day. So the basketball player was like, I want to rent this. I want to take, this is crazy. I've never flown like this before in my life. I want to rent out your jet. Let me rent out your jet. I'll pay you whatever money you want. Okay, I want to take my girl from the Bahamas next week. And those two guys looked at each other and they're like, I wonder if we can make a business out of it. And they opened up a company called Blue Star Jets. They got it from the movie The Wall Street, the name. I don't know if you remember Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Star Jets, they took the name, and it was one of the biggest charter companies in the world. They were the first ones to start this business, and they invented it. So I went to go work there after I got out of the stock market, unfortunately.
Yeah,
it wasn't by choice for me to get out of the stocks. I was dealt a bad hand.
So then when you get into the jet business, how does that look like? Were you making money from the start? And then what led to opening your own?
So I was there. I was at Blue Star for about 6 weeks, and they were about to sell it. So I had no other choice. After they sold it, I didn't know anything about the business. I came from the stock market. I was in a bad place in my life. I was depressed. I had gained a lot of weight. I couldn't believe that I lost my license. It crushed me. I was so good on the phones, and I loved all my clients. And unfortunately, FINRA was like, listen, you can't be in this business anymore, because I signed a document that disqualified my license. So after that, I went to go work there. I was trying to learn the jet business, and nobody was teaching me anything. They were like, just get on the phone, call the leads. So they sold the company to Apollo Jets, and then I went to go work at somebody that used to work there at a firm called Jets.com. So I started working there, and I started making a little bit of money. nothing crazy. I was probably 10, 15 grand a month, you know, and I wasn't learning anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up meeting somebody that was in the business for 15 years, and he's like, you know, they're supposed to teach you this, this, and that. I said, let me hire you. I want to learn everything from you, okay? I'm going to pay you, and I just want to learn everything about the jet business. And then he taught me everything, and he actually passed away. That was my chief operating officer. That passed away, I don't know if you remember, 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But he taught me the business, taught me everything.
So he taught you. Then you ended up hiring him.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when you start the company in 2015, are you making money right away with your own business, or did it take some time to build it up? Like, and what led to having these big celebrity influencers that you have now?
So it's a kind of a funny story. In the beginning,
Like in other words, like talk about the journey, because I mean, from my experience and from other people's experiences, like for example, I don't know if people know this, but Jeff Bezos, when he started his company, there was a point where he was like going out of business. He couldn't grow it anymore, and it was gonna go bad. But he made a decision where he said, you know what, I'm gonna sell 20% of my company for $2 million. So he sold 20% of his company for $2 million.
Incredible.
So he met with about 60 investors, I believe, more or less. I could be off by a few numbers. And he got like 55 no's and like 5 yeses. And then from those 5 yeses, he raised $2 million. And then that ended up becoming what it is today. And then now those 2 million, I mean, you could imagine how much those 2 million are worth.
Billions.
Yeah, I mean,
Billions.
a lot. Yeah, but so in your journey, and I go through ups and downs still. Like so business is like that. It's just like it's ups and downs. You got to be ready for the downs. Did you ever go through a point when you started your own and you were like, damn, this is not working out? I think I'm going to go out of business. Or did you ever have any scary moments, or has it always been like beautiful and pink?
So he had a list of clients, and I had leads, and I just came from jets.com. So I already had some sort of a book, nothing crazy, right? And then I ended up meeting a model in Manhattan that introduced me to, I don't know if you know the guy, Young Thug.
Yeah, I don't know him, but I heard about him.
Yeah, so he was a great client of mine, and he's in jail right now, unfortunately. He still owes me money. But he introduced me to a bunch of celebrities. Like
So was it worth it? Because he owes you money and he's in jail.
Absolutely.
But he introduced you to other people that paid you.
Yeah, I mean, I got Cardi B, I got the Migos, Usher, Future, Drake.
You met Drake before?
I've never met him.
Yeah.
But I flew him.
Yeah.
See, a lot of these clients I don't meet, unfortunately, because I'm not at the plane, because they're going from L.A. I'm in New York working.
But if I were you, if they tell me, hey, you know what, we got Drake, I would be like, dude, I'm fucking taking a flight to meet him, and just because I want to build that relationship, and then I would actually, you don't even have to tell him, but I would bump up the price a little bit, get him a nice little gift, show up there and be like, hey, you know what, Drake, here, I got you this this bag from Louis, or I got you this I don't know, something like that, and I got you a nice bottle of Ace of Spades, your favorite, or whatever he likes, and bam, and just wanted to introduce myself, I'm the owner, boom, and maybe get a video or whatever, post it, and that alone would go like viral and crazy, and then you would get a lot of business back. That's what I would do. But is there a reason why you don't go and meet them? Because I would go meet all of those people with a lot of influence.
You know, it's something that I'm learning, obviously, from you, Albert.
Yeah.
You know, you're my mentor. This is part of the 5K mastermind now, right?
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes you get so busy in the jet business. There's
Yeah.
so many moving parts.
Yeah.
There's the operations, air traffic control. I mean, look, when did I buy my 5K mastermind ticket? 3 months ago. And I'm just getting here now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because there's so many moving parts to the
Yeah.
jet business. Like
Yeah.
anything can happen at any point in time. So you want to kind of, you know, be on call and stand by.
Mhm.
Because I move and shake a lot.
Yeah.
You know, that's a service that I provide. That's why people keep coming back to me, because I do the work.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they don't do the work.
Yeah.
They just want it the easy way.
There's a few, like, there's like two little tweaks that I feel like I know that when we do it tomorrow, when we talk about it, it's just gonna take your business to that next level, because you have a lot of potential, and like all these these people that you get, like, think about look at it this way. Let's say Wally here has his charter company,
Mm-hmm.
and he's struggling because he can't get good customers. So he's calling. He has like a few people calling under him, and they're trying to sell, some flights, and they just can't land people, and they get like small business owners, tiny influencer celebrities, like the minis, but he's barely able to breathe because there's not enough money coming in, not enough bookings. So, and there's a lot more like Wally's. They're struggling because they can't get people that have the money. But you're getting all these people very easily. You're getting all these big time names
Yeah.
so easily, or I don't know if it's easy, but it seems pretty easy. You're getting all of these. Let's say if Wally gets, what's that guy that I met at the Laker game? Bad Bunny. Let's say he gets Bad Bunny. You think that he would go there and meet Bad Bunny with something to just make a video or whatever? He would probably drop whatever he's doing, go there, get the exposure from Bad Bunny, do whatever it takes just to get a video, and that Bad Bunny shares it or whatever. And then, because if you do that with all the people that you have, even giving them like a free ride,
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
and just because, think about it, how much money does Carol G charge to for a performance now? It's a lot of money. So if you fly her and you tell her and you show up there and you're like, hey, Carol G, you know what? I covered it. You don't have to worry about it. I guarantee you that she'll do something crazy for you. But then if you do enough of that, it's just marketing money. So I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, but yeah, like, so going back to you, like right now, how do you get these people? Like, how do you land these people that you mentioned? You said big names.
It's first in the beginning, I was there all the time.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if Quavo would call me 5 o'clock in the morning. It didn't matter if, what happened the day before. If I had to get a jet because his girlfriend's mad at him and he's got to put flowers in the plane, I would go, put flowers and chocolates and pillows.
They do
and
things like that?
Oh, yeah.
Girlfriend gets mad. They send a jet.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? Oh, my God.
They send a jet to pick them up with flowers, or they?
Yeah, yeah. My girl's mad at me. I was dancing with another girl. Yeah, of course.
And that always works, huh?
All the time. I mean, it's the best way to fly. Like Cardi B, she always gets the big jets, and she always wants a bed with pillows. She likes to lay down when she flies. She's nervous. Yeah. But you're absolutely right. I think that's a great idea. There's only room for improvement.
Yeah.
I think me giving one of these guys a flight and them promoting me and for marketing purposes will, probably take us to the next level.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you land these people though? Like how do you land a Drake?
So I've learned a system that, because from my previous background in the stockbroker, I couldn't get anybody. I can basically get anybody on the phone. So I have certain systems that I can get anybody's cell phone number and their email addresses, their managers. We do, part of this business is research. So you got to do research, find out who their assistant is or their manager, call them up, reach out to them, let them know your name. But the majority of them have come from referrals. This person saying, hey, this guy's a good jet broker.
How'd you get your first referrals? Like how'd you get your first big names?
From that one girl
Hmm.
that owns. She's a model, and she does models for sneakers, and she does photo shoots with a bunch of rappers and influencers.
I think sexy, ultra sexy women with a lot of followers are the key to success in anything. Because if you think about Jordan Belfort, he had a lot of sexy, ultra sexy women that promoted what he did.
Yeah.
Because who doesn't want to be around somebody with a bunch of sexy ultra models?
Sex sells.
Who like look, think about what's his name? Bill Sarian. What does he have? He has like a lot of ultra sexy girls with him all the time.
What's his? Oh no, that's
Dan Bilzerian.
Dan.
Yeah, Dan
Bilzerian.
Bilzerian. Yeah,
Unbelievable.
yeah.
He went from like 0 followers to 10 million because he
Mhm,
had girls naked on the planes.
Yeah. Well, now
Yeah,
now Yados is doing that at a
Yeah.
smaller level.
Yeah, he
Uh,
actually promoted me when we did that flight together.
That's good.
Yeah, I actually got an account from it too. Believe it or not, I had some guy reach out to me on Instagram. He's like, "Hey, I fly all the time."
I'm thinking if I get like 10 ultra sexy models here, and kind of do it like a hybrid between Yados and Bilzerian, and I think but I'll do it better because I have kids. So imagine having kids, wife, and ultra sexy models.
You have to invite me.
I would go viral because I'm like, yeah, well, Yados has the amigas, he has the girlfriends and the wife. But he doesn't have any kids. Then you have Dan Bilzerian, he has the models and everything, but I don't think he has kids either, right?
No, he doesn't. He's single.
He doesn't have a wife either.
Yeah, he doesn't have a wife or
So
a
so
girlfriend.
so it's different. And then I come out with, I'm married, I have the girlfriends, and then I have kids. And that would certainly go viral.
You think so?
Of course it will, yeah.
I think it's gonna make so viral too.
Yeah. And then I start teaching people how to do that.
That's a great idea.
That's a great innovative campaign,
I
Maria.
think you need a jacuzzi in the other office.
Yeah, and then let's work on the private room. So somewhere where still won't find, nobody would know about it.
Let's see how Phil feels about this.
Only you would know. And well, you're my executive assistant, so you have to keep everything
No.
top secret.
To me.
So she would keep that secret, and then Wally would keep it secret.
Hush, hush.
Yeah, so don't
You're the confident, Maria.
cut this from the clip. Cut this from the clip. No, but I'm saying think about first form. Okay, we don't have to go crazy with the sex part or the girlfriends or all that stuff, but first form, what do they do? Like how did they become a billion-dollar company? They have all these sexy models with a lot of followers promoting, I work out and I'm sexy. I take first form. And then what happens? More people see it, and then it became that big company. There's another one.
Bang,
Yeah.
bang.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
That guy became a billionaire. All for models.
Sex sells.
It does. I used to tell my guys that when I used to teach them, you have to be sexy. You have to be that sexy girl on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're talking to people.
Yeah.
You got to make people want you. People want what they can't have in this world.
Except that. Yeah.
You know? And sex is, Warren Buffett says it. I used to know this lady named Meryl Whitner, and she used to talk at this conference that I used to go to, and she was trained by Warren Buffett. I know her. And Warren Buffett always says, I didn't get involved in sex and beer. And the porn industry, it's
Porn's a
trillions.
huge. Well, porn's a huge industry. Let me look it up. What is I mean, it should be $1 trillion company or no?
I actually had some of the people that work
Industry, I
for me
mean.
look up OnlyFans models to reach out to OnlyFans models because these girls are making millions of dollars. And these girls are going to fly private. I mean, there's some OnlyFans models right now making, $30, $40 million a year.
Let's see this. Is porn a $1 trillion industry or $1 billion industry? Did it work? Is porn a $1 trillion industry or a $1 billion industry? You ever do this?
The pornography industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, estimated to be worth around $97 billion globally. In the United States alone, it generates between $12 to $14 billion annually. So, it is not quite a $1 trillion industry, but definitely a significant player in the global economy.
It's like we said, girls really drive the anything.
Yeah.
Sex sells.
Yeah.
So, another one that I was talking about, Equinox. Equinox. I don't know if you know this,
The
but
gym?
Equinox, yeah, the gym,
Mhm.
they blew up because they used to let strippers in for free. So they used to let in especially in the one here in Sepulveda. I think
a
it's
great
Sepulveda,
idea.
the one where Magic Johnson goes. It's by the 405 freeway. They used to let all these hot strippers in for free. So this gym, you go in there and you see all these hotties working out. Like every dude wants to be there.
Of course.
And so that's how they blew up. So
And people are probably just getting memberships because of that.
it's like it's like you get the strip club and the workout all in one.
Yeah.
So like it's just a great idea. So you go back and you said this model referred you people because beautiful women know a lot of people because people
They
follow
do.
them.
Everybody follows them.
Yeah.
And they have, the majority of them have millions of followers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just because of eye candy. They just want to look at a pretty girl.
Yeah.
I think everybody wants to look at a pretty girl, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good idea. I have some ideas here in line for some of the businesses. So tell me about the company. So the company starts, you start getting referrals, right?
Mm-hmm.
At any point, did you ever feel like, man, I made a mistake? It's not going the way I wanted, or has it always been like perfect?
No, it hasn't been perfect. There was ups and downs. I mean, COVID definitely threw a monkey wrench. People were telling me, get out of the business. That's it. There's nothing else is going to happen for you.
When COVID happened, like, talk about that moment. Do you still remember it? Were you kind of like, man, my bank account is going down? Did you ever feel like, man, I'm gonna run out of money? What am I gonna do? Or how was the COVID?
Of course.
Because for us, mortgage and real estate paused for also like a few months. Meaning, I don't know if you remember this or if you knew this, but they said, hey, COVID's shut down. We're shutting down the recorder's office. No recordings. Fundings are gonna stop. And then everybody thought the world was gonna end, or a lot of people did. So they shut down the gyms. Everything is shut down. Nobody wants to buy a house. They think the next world war is gonna happen. The world's gonna disappear. Like people are thinking the weirdest things.
Uncertainty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nobody wants to buy a house. People are like, shit, I don't want to sell or I don't want to buy. It was just, there was no business. So very similar. So I'm like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And like the greats, they figure it out. That's one thing that Patrick Bet-David, he's one of my first mentors. He told me this when I saw him a couple months ago. He said, hey, Albert, one thing you have is you're always figuring out things. Like you're that type of guy that I'm going to figure this thing out. And because you have that skill or that ability, you're going to figure it out. Because I think skills and abilities, like skill is different than ability. I don't know if you know what I mean.
I do.
Some people are born with ability. You are born with it. Skill is something you could learn.
Right.
You could acquire a
Right.
skill. If you
Right.
practice, you're going to get good. You're going to get sales skills. But ability is something you're born with. So there's a big difference right there. But when you went through COVID, what were you thinking and how bad did it get?
I mean, first of all, everybody in my family got sick. In New York, it was terrible. In Brooklyn, it was.
They all got COVID?
Yeah, we all got COVID. One of my best friend's parents died within 4 days apart. And I think I actually got COVID from him, but it got so bad that all night you would hear the sirens. Like you couldn't, like there was always ambulance sirens.
Yeah.
And for business purposes, my friends were telling me, look, you're going to have to look for a new business. You're going to have to do something else because we didn't know what to expect. And it closed down for about I would say about 4 months, 5 months. And then slowly it started opening up. And in the beginning it was great because the prices were so cheap. Like people were just giving flights away. And, you know, the spreads were obviously really good. But once things started opening up, you know, airline companies got funded. It started slowly increasing. But the level of business, it wasn't like, there's different flyers. There's a corporate, right?
Yeah.
The big companies that fly every few days, every week. You were starting to get other people. You were starting to get the older generation. You know, people that were in the 60s, 70s, and 80s that had a lot of money. They used to fly first class, and now they don't want to be in an airport. A lot of people.
Right.
And
That's what happened to me.
yeah. Yeah, you got pissed.
Uh-huh.
I mean, some of those people are nasty.
Yeah. So did it, how nasty did it get though? Did you get to a point where you were like, shit, I might go out of business tomorrow, or did it kind of shift to good before it got that bad?
No, it was devastating in the beginning. Like I said, I was actually debating if we should close up shop.
So how'd you figure that out? And when did it just change to good?
I just put my head down and started going to work.
Oh yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, A through Z. I had a thing that I used to do, A through Z. Just go to everybody, talk as many people as possible, work even harder. You know, during times when things are rough for you, you gotta do the extra mile.
Yeah.
You gotta work late. You gotta work Saturdays, Sundays. You gotta tell the wife and the kids, hey, you're not gonna see me for a few months.
That's kind of like what Grant Cardone, he mentioned that he did that.
Yeah.
When when he went through a hard time. He told the same thing to his wife, but also that's kind of going back to Jordan Belfort, where you can't go home until you make sales.
Correct.
So that's kind of like what you did. You said, I'm not going home till I make a sale.
Exactly. Until I get this off the ground, I'm not.
Yeah.
You're not gonna see me. Don't talk to me.
But doesn't it feel good when you make a sale though? Like, cause let's say you're working and you're like, man, and this is a question for everybody watching this. Like you could have the worst day. Your wife pisses you off. Your girlfriend pisses you off, or whatever, and you don't sleep good. You wake up extra early. It's already like late at night or late in the day. You don't have any more energy. You have a headache. A lot of things going wrong. You haven't gotten a sale all day. You haven't made any money all day. And then it's like getting close to 10 p.m. You have a few people that are kind of interested, and you're like, I'm going to close these deals. And then it gets closer to 11 p.m., and it's just the shittiest day of your life. But then that sale comes in, and let's just say you collect a good amount. For whoever's watching this, it could be a different amount, right? For some people, a good amount could be $1 million. For some people, a good amount could be $10,000. Somebody that has no money, they make $10,000, dude, that's like fucking Disneyland for them.
Oh yeah.
Or somebody makes $100K or $1 million. It's according to whoever is watching this. But my point is, when you stay that late and when you were going through those times, hard times, you don't have any money and you need a sell, or you can't go home, and then you get a sell at 10 p.m. Money comes in, boom, and you make a good chunk of money. Doesn't that feel good? And it kind of fixes your headache. It brings a smile in your face. Like I'm even smiling right now because talking about
Best
money
feeling.
is the best.
Best feeling.
Like I think
Your confidence just skyrockets.
I don't know what's a better feeling, like great sex or a good chunk of money. Like I read in a book that if you chase women, you will run out of money. But if you focus on making money, chasing money, then it's the opposite. The woman will chase you.
Absolutely.
So most ding dong guys, they're chasing women. They're running out of money. But if they focus on just making money, then the women are gonna chase them. So going back to that, like when you close a deal and you have no money, and then you just close a big sale, like you make a big sale, like how does that feel? And does it fix your whole body language, the way you feel? Like I've had times where I have a massive headache, and I just close a big deal, and the headache goes away
Absolutely.
like this.
Incredible.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Like, what's the biggest deal you've closed?
In the jet business or in the stocks?
Jet.
658,000 one flight.
One flight.
One
Like,
flight.
what kind of flight was that?
It was for a DJ. I'm not going to mention his names because he doesn't like to. He's one of the biggest DJs in the world.
Yeah, I think I know who it is.
Yeah, he got married recently.
Is it
I'm not going to say.
Well, you don't
in
have to
case
say yes or no,
somebody
but
watches
but
this.
I'll just look at you. Is it David Guetta? David Guetta.
Close, very close. One
Okay,
of his
no.
best friends.
All right, I know who it is. Who it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. So how was it 600K?
So he, as a gift, this is how much money he has, and I hope I can't say his name, but
Yeah. No, it's fine.
he had a surprise group go to his wedding in Ibiza, and he paid for that band because his wife loved the band as a surprise to his wife for the wedding. That was a wedding gift.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So 600. What was this a while back or was it recent?
That was a while back.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe like a year ago.
What about your most recent like big close?
I had a good one a couple of days ago.
How much was that?
150 grand.
150 grand. And then the margins. You mind sharing like what the margins are in private jets chartering?
Yeah, it could be in the beginning. You want to take care of your clients. You want to see what kind of class of aircraft they fly.
Yeah.
You want to give them a good deal, kind of like to get them in the door,
Yeah.
get them used to you. And you would start out, I would say, maybe at 8 to 10%. If you found a really, really good deal, which I like to always negotiate with both the aircraft owner and the operator and the client, sometimes you can go as 20%. So the margins are anywhere, I would say, from average 10 to 35%. Sometimes you get lucky and you get those empty legs and you get a one-way and it's 50%. But that's what it averages, which I think are pretty good margins.
And how long did it take you to learn all this?
God. Till I got to this point, I would say about 2 to 3 years.
And how many people do you have under you selling?
Not that many, only 7. After COVID, I closed down my one office because my dad got sick. My dad passed away. My mom got sick, so I'm very close with my family. So
Yeah.
I stayed back to spend time with my
Yeah.
family and take care of my family. And
Yeah.
I wasn't building the company. Now I'm in the building phase. And when I built it, I didn't have the rock stars that I wanted. I had
Yeah.
some good guys. They were closing deals, but they weren't like another me. And I told and I closed everything down. I put everybody remote. And then I said, if I'm going to start building it again, I want only rock stars. And that's where I'm at now. So I have just maybe, I don't know, a handful of people, 7 people.
And they're all selling like packages or
Charters.
flights.
Yeah, charters.
Yeah.
We don't really do packages. I'm going to start this one thing where we're doing an empty leg list and charge a fee. So we'll charge $297 a month, and then another package would be $997 a month, and you get access to over 8,000 empty legs a year. So anybody that wants to taste private aviation, they can just pay that fee and have access to all those empty legs. And if something matches up, they just pay for the pilots and gas.
So if you want to jump into an empty leg, how much would that cost you? Like if I want to go to Florida from LA.
$8 grand. If it's a true empty, at an average, I would say between 15 to 25K. And it could be as large as a Gulfstream G4.
So you would charge the customer around like 15 to 20 grand for the empty leg.
For the empty
trip.
leg, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on this and then the commercial airline space, their margins are bad, right?
Terrible. They keep printing money. They lose money.
Why is it so bad, and why do they do that?
There's so much churn and there's so many expenses. People don't realize, but see, I'm a jet broker, and people think opening up a jet firm, a private jet firm, and owning the planes they're going to make a lot of money, but there's so much turnover. There's so much maintenance. Everything happens.
Yeah.
I mean, between a flat tire to a broken windshield, something always happens to these planes. It's a mechanical device. Let's call it a spade. And they run these things to the ground. So there's so much operating expenses and maintenance that has to be done. I have clients that will buy a plane and they want to sell it back to me in 2 years. So they're losing money. And I'm not going to mention the names of the firms, but there's companies that are being bailed out right now in the private aviation space.
Why are they going through hard times?
Because their planes are shit. They print money. They spend over $1 billion in marketing a year. I can tell you the company. It's Wheels Up.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even use them anymore as a vendor.
Yeah.
But you know what? I have friends that work there, and I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
You know, there's really good.
When just
people
hire
behind
them.
it. I'm actually in talks with a couple of people.
So these people that work for you, that they make sales, that they get a percentage of. So like, let's say you collect, let's just say 20% margin. They get a piece of that.
Correct. So they get a 50% payout up until a 70% payout.
And 70% payout is if they sell X amount more.
Correct.
Yeah. So I think like a rule in business that I teach a lot is that you should always have tiers and entice people for more production. So like, hey, if you sell X, this is going to be your tier. But if you sell XX, you're going to get a double tier. If you sell XXX, then you're going to get the top, the cap. And then that keeps them motivated. I got to sell more. I got to hit my numbers.
Yeah.
But I really like if you don't make a sell, you don't go home. So like if you don't make a sell, you don't go home. So that if you have that in your business, where every salesperson in your business, if you don't sell today, you don't go home. If you don't open an escrow today, you don't go home. I think that alone would fix every business out there.
Absolutely. That'll mold the person.
Because that's the rule we've been talking about for the last 30 minutes. Jordan Belfort said, you can't go home if you don't make a sell.
Yep.
And that's what you did when times got tough. You were like, I'm not going to go home till I make this sell. And you just started working extra, whatever it took.
Yeah, you got to be a monster. You got to focus until you get the sale.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're not going to get the sale, but just don't give up. Like I remember this one night, I was working. I wasn't getting anywhere. Nobody's picking up the phone. And I mean, I was working it to death. And finally it was probably like 11:30, 11:40. I was drained. And I didn't make a sale. And I couldn't believe, because I actually had people really close.
Yeah.
Next day, I woke in the morning, 2 sales.
Why do you think that? Why was it so hard the day before? And you couldn't make the sale, and you were so close, but it didn't happen, and then the next morning it happens.
It's a good question.
Why can't you just make it happen all the time?
Because people, like the one thing I learned about people is sometimes they're not ready, and they're not sitting, nobody's sitting by the phone waiting for you to call them, right? And I tell people this all the time, I didn't think you were sitting by the phone with a big bag of cash waiting for me to call you.
Yeah.
And sometimes people have moods. They could have been with their family. They might not have been in the right mind frame.
Right.
The thing about the jet business is you can't make a person fly. They need you in this business. It's different than stocks. I would make people buy stock. I was high pressure. I can get somebody to buy the stock even if they didn't want to, and that was my problem, which is bad.
Yeah.
Because if a guy was down $5 million in his account, people would tell me, you're never going to make this guy his money back, and I would get really angry because I had a relationship with this guy.
Yeah.
I had a fiduciary responsibility to make this guy money. That was my job. But I think you got to keep going, even if it's bad, even if you're not making progress just yet. I think stay on the path.
Yeah. So are you hiring right now salespeople?
I am.
So if you're watching this and you want to start making some good money, reach out. He's going to help you make money. And where's the best place for people to reach you?
You can go to my Instagram. It's over here in the back. DM me. I'll even put my cell phone number. I don't know if you can put your cell phone number on here, but
you can say it if you want. People can call you.
Yeah, call me on my work cell. It's 646 646-248-5090. Again, it's 646-248-5090. And if you ever leave a message and you leave your number, make sure you don't just rattle off the numbers. Everybody calls. You know, people leave messages. Call me back at 646-248-5090.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They don't know how to actually leave the telephone number and slow
Yeah,
down.
And we'll put your info below so people can go there and click on it. Another quick thing before we wrap up. You said that you're starting like this new coaching. So what is the coaching? And you're going to teach people how to do what you do? Or what is the coaching about? And follow. Are you teaching them what you do?
Yeah.
Okay, and then a follow-up question on that. Aren't you scared that if you teach people what you do, then you're going to get more competition?
No. You know, for the longest time, I wouldn't post, and I you know, obviously I haven't.
Because why wouldn't somebody want to go do what you do and make six-figure sales and make 20% like that?
Of course. But, you know, if I'm going to teach them about the business, I'm going to teach them in a way where they're loyal, right? The whole thing about teaching somebody is you want to build camaraderie, you want to build an organization. But the thing is, when you have independent contractors, you get people that are, you know, hot-headed and like, oh, I don't need you anymore.
Right.
Right? It's a constant flow of people coming in.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't matter to me. If I teach somebody how to be successful and they're successful, I have guys right now that used to work for me.
Yeah.
And they own companies. They're doing so many different other things, and they thank me all the time. And I think that's like such a good feeling. The fact that when you see somebody, they're like, wow, whatever you need, man. You know, I'm doing great. Thank you for being hard on me.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. Anybody that needs any sales, that's having problems in sales, I can help. I can teach.
How easy and fast is it to open up your own charter business for jets?
Well, it's not that easy.
It takes some time.
Yeah, you need capital. It takes time.
How much capital do you need, more or less?
A couple of $100,000.
Can somebody use their business credit card for it?
Sure. Yeah.
If you have good credit, you could get a platinum Amex.
Yeah.
And because you need the capital for what? To pay up front and then collect?
So I fund a lot of my projects, believe it or not, which I know you're against, but you know, I ended up taking a couple of your strategies and getting some big credit limits.
Mm.
But certain deals on certain accounts that I have, we have such a good rapport that I put up the money for them. So at any given time, I might have to put up $250,000 for a flight, and then they'll pay me 3, 6, 8 weeks later. Which people say it's not good business sense, but these are people that run billion-dollar companies.
Why do they pay you that much later?
It's just the way their accountant departments are. They do so many deals. I just did a flight for a guy that just closed a $2 billion deal last week. And it was in the paper.
And you don't do that for everybody, though, right?
No, I don't do that. Like
But that's kind of like what gets you going sometimes, right?
Yeah.
If you have to collect, if you have zero, you can't.
I'll tell you a funny story. Actually, Young Thug owes me a whole bunch of money.
Yeah.
He owes me $47,000. I love you, Thug, but you know, I hope you get out of prison, man. He's a really nice guy, actually, but you know, he's not getting a fair shake. One of the Migos, Quavo, he did 1 month about, I don't know, $350,000 in flights, but his credit card could only charge $10,000 a day. So he was flying so much with me that he's like, listen, Nick, just, you know, I trust you, take my card and charge. So I got up to like 30 transactions. There was $65,000 left, and he blocked me. So there's a mistake right there. And he's like, no, there's too many transactions. I said, okay, you owe me $65,000. And then we got into a riff. His manager got involved. They were not taking my calls, and then we finally we settled.
A quick question here. So when you're flying private, like if I get a flight from you, right? And I have like a girl. I'm just saying, like, let's say my name is John, and I'm John, and I hire you. I get a flight to Miami, and I take this hot chick, and then the hot chick wants to like have sex on the jet,
Absolutely.
like upstairs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that allowable, or do you have like, hey, you can't have sex on the plane, you got to go to the restroom and do it there, or can you, or what do you do? Like, do you tell the stewardess, hey, close the door, don't come in, we're gonna have sex really quick, or how does that work? Because
Yeah.
I heard that I know that sex upstairs is a lot better than downstairs.
Yeah. So yes, you can have sex. You can do whatever you want. You can request not having a flight attendant. Some people request.
But what do you tell the
hot
pilot?
flight
What if
attendants.
one of the pilots wants to go to the restroom and they kind of walk in the middle of it?
Then that's, I'm sure they've seen that many times. I've heard stories.
Yeah.
You know.
But you can't get fined or nothing, right?
No, nothing. There's
Because
people,
I mean, if there's a bed or
Yeah.
there's couches,
Mhm.
they're there for a reason.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want,
Yeah.
and that happens all the time.
Well, that's good to know. So, Nick, it was great having you here. If anybody wants to reach out to Nick, like I use Nick, when I want to fly private, when I want to charter. So we're friends now, and I highly recommend him if anybody wants to fly private. He takes care of not only me, but a bunch of other big players in the game. Reach out to him. He'll give you a deal, maybe comment driven or something, and you'll give him the driven deal. And you know where to reach out.
Absolutely.
And any final words or
No.
another funny story you want to mention?
No, I got plenty.
Yeah.
All the time. I appreciate it.
Off
Thank
the
you.
record, we'll talk about those
Yeah,
funny
yeah,
stories.
yeah. Thank
All
you
right.
for having me.
Well, thank you, Nick.